All right. So now we are going to talk about Nocturia. Nocturia, that sounds miserable. What is that? So Nocturia is another long word to describe that you are going to the bathroom at night. And as a mom of three young children, that sounds miserable. So, according to the American Urological Association, if you wake up more than one time a night to go to the bathroom, you may have nocturia. Sleep disruption may, from having to urinate during the night, can impact your quality of life. Duh. So, I'll have people come to see me and say, "Oh, how many times are you going to the bathroom each night?" And I'll go, "Well, I've been doing this since the baby was little." I'm like, "Well, how old's the baby?" "The baby's 30." And they've gotten in this habit of every time they wake up, they think might as well go to the bathroom, and then they do. And then the baby grows up, moves away, and they're still, every time they wake up, they're still going to the bathroom just in case. So there are a lot of things that can go that can play a part of nocturia. And I really, really, really want people to sleep. If you sleep, then you can heal. And if you heal, then you can exercise. If you can exercise, you can be strong. And then all of these muscles can work for you. So, examples that may be causing nocturia, polyuria, if your body makes too much urine in 24-hour period, nocturnal polyuria, bladder storage problems, mixed nocturia, all those things mostly are helped by a urologist. The other is physical therapy. The other is retraining your bladder, just like we talked about in the other slides about being able to know when and if your bladder actually needs to empty. So, and not doing the just in case peeing. So, just in case I'm going to go to the bathroom, just in case, let's quit that. So, what can you do to address the nocturia? So, it's hard to do these things, but you are not in here because this was easy. If this was easy, these problems would just go away. So if you go to bed at 10, then trying to stop drinking fluids, I wrote on here 4 hours. So it's 6. So you go home, you get off of work at 5, you're home at 5:30, you at 6, you're eating dinner, whatever you eat at dinner, whatever you drink at dinner, that would be the last thing that you would drink for the day. Meaning you need to up your fluid and start your fluid intake while you're at work, which is really hard. I also am at work and have struggled with drinking all of my water today. But that means that at dinner time, I'm drinking my big old Yeti cup of water. Uh, it would be great also if you could move your pills from taking them right at bedtime to taking them at dinner. So that way that little bit of water that you're taking at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night can actually be taken at 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. But make sure that your doctor's approved you for that. Also, elevating your feet 2 hours before bedtime can help increase the fluid starting to go, leaving your feet and back up to your head and heart, so your body can start digesting that water out of your legs. We just accumulate fluid, gravity's rude, it ends up down at our feet. So if you start doing this, if you start having a bedtime routine, like with the kids and we lay on the floor. I call it upside down reading. And I put the feet up. We put them on the bottom bunk and we all lay on our backs and we read the books. This is also really good if you are suffering from prolapse. So put some pillows under your hiney, elevate that up. You got your feet up, you got your organs up, and everything is just letting gravity work for you. So, and it also helps begin the rest and digest system. So at night, we're making sure that our systems are working properly. So the first thing we can do is wake up and poop. Yay! So have some consistency. So other things that you can do to stop going to the bathroom and waking up with bladder pain can be rubbing your belly. So we had talked about doing a belly massage, which if you start at your right lower abdomen, right above your hip bone that pokes out, and going a horseshoe pattern up over your belly button and down to the left side. And so that's the direction that your colon moves. So while you are addressing colon moving, getting the poop moving so that way you wake up and poop, you're also getting the fluid moving that's moving along with that poop as well, back down to the bladder. Addressing the belly button. So the belly button has a fascia layer that actually starts the belly button. If you stick your finger too hard in your belly button and you feel it in your private places, that's called the urachus. And that is a fascia connective tissue. And if it is tight, or you've ever had a surgical repair through your belly button or a belly button ring, then you have scar tissue here, and that fascia pulls all the way to the bladder like a tent-like structure. So if we can rub at your belly button, then it'll actually release some tension that is happening at your bladder, so your bladder can fully expand and not be so tight and taut and irritated. So any abdominal scars, so if you've had any abdominal scar for anything ever, even if it was 50, 60, 70 years ago, rub that belly. Like, all of your abdominal muscles have the same innervation, as a few of them that end at the bladder. And then that same innervation starts and stops at your pubic bone, which is right on the other side of your bladder. So everything's connected. Remember that. So you're calming down the central nervous system and the fascia. I have had several people, it was a surprise to me. And I felt silly for not acknowledging it. So I acknowledged it to everybody, but they were simply having sleep apnea. So they got with their dentist, they got with their respiratory therapist or a cardiologist, got their CPAP in order, everything started working better, and then they quit wetting the bed, which was interesting that just plain having poor sleep was causing them to wet the bed, not even wake up. So something else to look into, if you know that you are affected by these issues, then they should be addressed as well. So remember your urge suppression techniques. So I'm woken up several times a night, but I don't go to the bathroom every time I'm woken up. I've got 3 kids and an old dog and a snoring husband. I love you. And I wake up, and just in case I think I need to go to the restroom, I do those urge suppression techniques. So those same ones that work during the day can work at night. I do want to say, so let's remember what those were. So you're going to take your big belly breath. So you're going to sit up, you're going to do the thing you have to do, got to let the dog out, got to put the passy back in the mouth, and come back and walk back to your bed, and don't hook it to the restroom, lay back in bed and do your 3 quick contractions. So remember, they're little anal flickers, they're little Kegels, they're pelvic floor contractions, whatever you want to call them. And you're not doing them for strength. You're doing them as a reflex to tell your brain, to tell your bladder, to tell your smooth muscles to relax. And so that way your body can get back in the habit of waking up, rolling over, and just going back to sleep. That would be so nice. So increasing that awareness that whatever you do during the day can also help you at night. Also remember that you can increase the strength getting out of the bed. So some people, they are fine, and then their bladder, it fills all night long. And then whenever they get up and then they sit up and they smush their bladder as they're standing up, that's when they leak the urine. And that is going to be really important to strengthen all the things that help you go from a sit to stand, help you go from laying down to sitting up. So strengthening up those things, go ahead. And if those things are hard for you, then do them 10 times and call that an exercise. Lay down, sit up, lay down, sit up, and practice breathing out while you're doing it. Because if you're holding your breath, I mean, you're sleeping, I mean, you're just kind of rolling up. But if you're holding your breath, then you're holding that pressure and it's pushing on your bladder, which is smushing all the urine out of your bladder. So make sure that you're breathing out and strengthen in those positions. So I love sit to stands. Progression would be be able to do a squat. I don't know many people that can do a squat very well that have if you have issues to see me, then typically your squats are not the prettiest. So then I just have you sit and stand over and over again until we're doing them correctly and in different ranges of motion. So from a tall bed, from a short bed, and from all of those different hip angles, because the more flexed down you are, the more all these muscles are relaxed, which is why we pee, poop, and have sexy time in that position. And so remember, oh, and then to breathe out whenever you're getting out of the bed to decrease those pressures. So I hope that you do not suffer from scary nocturia, but I hope that this was very helpful. Remember, you are fearfully and wonderfully made.